So I'm at the airfield and it's not looking good. It definitely isn't VFRable at the moment. We've got that way behind me, we've got 400-foot cloud base and spitty rain, and then that way towards the east it's better, but that weather is going from west to east, so yeah, not too good. I don't know if I'm going to get flying today or not. In fact, I haven't seen one movement. I've been at the airfield for about an hour and I've not seen one movement at all. All the school planes are on the ground. Don't look like it's going to be happening today.
The forecast suggested there was a small chance of an improvement.
So it's not getting any better. I've locked up, put the aircraft back away. Sometimes, you know, piloting is all about making the right calls, and I don't think you've got to be a fantastic pilot to be able to realise that this is not VFRable. Yep, not happening today, so I'll come back on Tuesday, so see you then. Boom, and we're back. What a different day today. Well, it's like just 2 days later that front went through, and now look at it, blue skies-ish, a few clouds around. It's lovely. But yeah, so we're off to Old Walden, little local airfield. Been there a few times. Don't think I've actually featured it on the channel before, so it'll be quite an interesting one for you. So I'll give you a quick overview of the airfield and our route, and I'll catch you in the aircraft.
As I said, today we're off to Old Walden, or EGTH, Echo Golf Tango Hotel. It's a grass airfield just over 32 nautical miles as the bird flies. However, that would mean a direct crossing of the busy CTR, or London Stansted controlled airspace, which would probably involve a hold at some point. So I've decided to route around the top of all the airspace, as I'm in no rush, even though this will almost double my flight time. So we'll depart on Andrewsfield's easterly runway and turn northeasterly for 10 miles. We'll then track westerly around the top of Cambridge, then turn southerly and approach Old Walden from the north. Flight time today will be 50 minutes, and I'm planning a cruise section at around 5,000 feet. Okay, back to the cockpit for departure.
Okay, wind's from the left, so aileron into wind. One final check, fuel's on, flaps are set, everything's in the green, trim is sensible, we're hatched, harnessed, let's go. So revs are okay, T's and P's are okay, airspeed's alive, keeping that aileron into the wind just as we build up.
Tango Oscar, downwind 09 right, we'll approaching go around.
Crabbing it into wind. Okay, speed's good, flaps can come up. Quite gusty that wind actually.
The wind was a straight crosswind from the left on that departure, which means you can get some lifting, especially in a light aircraft like the SportCruiser, of the left wing during the takeoff roll, which can cause the aircraft to start skipping sideways when the wing becomes lighter and starts to generate lift as airspeed increases. So the idea is to put the left aileron, in this case, at a full left deflection into wind, or so that the aileron is sticking up, making it act like a spoiler to kill any early tendency for that wing to lift. Then as the forward speed increases, you start to remove that deflection or correction to maintain the centre line with the rudder as it becomes more effective, aiming to lift off on the out of wind main wheel first. Once airborne, you can either continue to correct with aileron or switch to rudder, maintaining the centre line with a crabbing technique, which is often much more comfortable. It's a high pressure day at 1036 hectopascals or 30.59 inches of mercury, with just some scattered clouds forecast close to my route.
So I might get caught out here because I might not have a gap to go down through. I might not get to Old Walden. I might get there late.
However, as I start my climb north of Cambridge, I note that the clouds ahead are more congested than forecast, and in some areas almost totally overcast. I can clear the tops of them at my cruise altitude, but with Class A airspace above me at 5,500 feet, I might be getting a little too close to them. In the UK, VFR allows flight over unbroken cloud, however I really should be at least 1,000 feet above them, or be able to see the surface.
T's and P's are okay. Outside air temperature 2 degrees.
I often get asked why I take the risk of flying above the clouds VFR when I could just fly below. Well, I've answered this in a number of videos, but basically I find the air smoother, there's less traffic, and well, it's just more fun. I always get comments about why don't I just get an instrument rating. Well, I do have a restricted instrument rating, or an IRR here in the UK, but the issue is not with me, it's the aircraft, which is not certified for flight in the cloud. Yes, it has the instrumentation, but the light wing loading means it would be too hard to control in the turbulence you get from inside some clouds. The area of cloud I'm crossing does have some big holes in it, so even though they would be a bit tight, I could get down maintaining contact with the surface. Also, the cloud is pretty thin. I'm less than 20 miles away from Old Warden now and need to plan my descent. I spot a nice big break in the clouds ahead and turn the aircraft towards it.
Okay, I think I'm going to go for that gap over there while it's here. Very thin cloud layer. So we can go... Well, what's this one over here? That's more en route as well. So we shall pull the carpet out, disconnect the autopilot, start heading over there. Actually no, let's have a look over there then.
73 Papa Hotel, turn left heading 205, speed 180 knots.
Speed 180 knots, left heading 205.
See it over there, brilliant!
60 Bravo, descend to altitude 3,000 feet to be level by Brooklyn's Part DME 9
3,000 feet, level to part 9860 Bravo.
I often wonder if finding these holes is more luck than judgment,
Autopilot can go back on.
but I always ensure I have at least one way back down again.
We're going to go, let me show you where we're going to go for. So we've got about 1,000 feet between us and the top of the cloud there. So where we're going to go for is, can you see that over there, that gap? It looks massive. So I've actually got sight of the surface now. It's not immediately below me, but I'm in sight of the surface. So I'm now back to proper VFR. There's another little layer below me, but there's the ground.
So I descend through the large area of broken cloud with a perfect sight of the surface all the way down.
So we'll continue on a left turn, descending down. Yeah, much nicer up there, up down here. Yeah, much nicer. Actually quite grotty down here. So let's flick over to Old Warden. Put the landing light on now.
I'm approaching Old Warden from the north and will set up so that I fly through the overhead at 2,100 feet, descending to join the circuit for the easterly runway. Old Warden sits at just 127 feet above mean sea level. It has two grass runways, the main one, which is 799 metres or 2,620 feet long, orientated 0220. They do have a second cross runway, which is pretty short, but visitors are not allowed to use it, so I don't have the details for it. Okay, so I enter the circuit via the overhead, where I get a great view of the runway layout. There's no radio service today, so I make blind calls as I set up on base for my landing into this stunning little airfield.
We'll turn at the lake here. Nothing on the approach, runway's clear. Reducing power. Almost at idle now. Round we go. There we go. On to final. Old Warden traffic Golf Charlie Zulu, SportCruiser final, runway 02 Old Warden. 23 knot headwind by the looks of it. Carpet going. Ready to get over a little bit. Yeah, that wind is actually really gusting. Hopefully as I get down a little bit below these trees it should be a little bit better. It's not too bad at all. Road's full flat. Don't want to land too heavy. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to float over this little lump here. It used to be the old road. And there's still a bit of a bump there, so we're just going to go over it because it's a bit of a bump there. So that's why we landed long. There we go, welcome to Old Warden.
Old Warden Airfield is set in the grounds of the beautiful Shuttleworth House, a Grade 2 listed building and the family home of Richard Shuttleworth, a racing motorist, aviator and prolific collector of veteran cars and aircraft. Sadly, Richard was killed in an RAF night training exercise during World War II. He was just 31 years old. His collection forms the nucleus of the Shuttleworth collection, a unique treasure trove of airworthy vintage aircraft from 1909 to 1950. Agricultural and steam exhibits, veteran vehicles, classic motorcycles, bicycles, carriages and buses, all housed in 6 display hangars at the airfield. A visit is highly recommended either by air or by car. There's a lovely cafe as well as a stunning Regency Gardens to enjoy, and they have air shows and events throughout the year. I always enjoy my visits to Old Warden and I can't wait to fly back in there again soon. Thank you so much for watching, fly safe and Shortfield out.